Now, if I was only Chris Riley and had the drum set, I could just be like pounding.
I was jamming out.
Right, I saw you. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Community Showcase right here on the Edge of Tech channel. Welcome. To my right, we got Josh from Alien3D. How you doing, Josh?
Good. How are you doing, Jim? Thank you for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. Another great Monday. It's beautiful here, a little muggy, but overall great. How about yourself?
It rained earlier. Power flickered. I was happy that I have a UPS now because it's getting ready to restart. But I haven't been outside, so I don't know what it feels like. It feels good in my room.
I love it. Well, we have a lot of great people in the chat. I've been going through while we were kind of getting set up and watching the chat. Welcome, everybody. Brian Vines, first person to comment today. I gave him the first person award, and Jake from State Farm's like, what's that? So I thought that was pretty cool. Let's go through some housekeeping quick, and we have an awesome guest today. David Shorey is here. If you have not seen his work, you guys are going to love it. But housekeeping real quick. Thanks so much to our sponsors, TH3D, RPM Designs. He hooked us up with all the stuff you see in the background and the logos and everything. TH3D is sponsoring us with some giveaways. We're going to be doing that during the next stream. We're going to do some TH3D giveaways, if I could talk. Tonight, Coex is actually doing a giveaway, and we're going to give away some Coex filament. Thank you so much, Coex, for being a sponsor of the show. At the end of the show tonight, we're going to do a giveaway for a roll of Coex. It is going to be shipped directly from them, so you get to pick it. Also, in the description below, if I can find my real quick, in the description below, you'll see a 15% off discount for everybody in the stream tonight that goes through this Sunday. So check that out in the description. If you have not tried Coex, do that. That stuff is great. I don't know if you can see. This is I'm printing one of these lightsabers, and this thing just came out awesome. And this is the silver metallic. You can see some more pictures on the Instagram. But without further ado, I think we should bring in the reason why we're all here tonight. Mr. David Shorey, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Awesome. We have a ton of people in chat. I haven't even barely looked at it since we started the stream, but I saw you popped in there and said hi, and some people were saying hi.
Yeah, I just did that real quick, but yeah, I'll let you relay the questions to me while we're on air.
So we have Josh from Alien3D. Welcome.
Welcome, Josh.
Howdy.
And we also have David Shorey. He's in the house. I don't know. I imagine a lot of us follow you on Instagram. Over 10,000. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's pretty awesome. But if they haven't, we're going to go through everything. You're the only guest tonight, so it's all you all night. David has graciously agreed to take some questions, and we have some really cool ones coming up. First, how about a little about you? What do you do? I keep saying like it's so awesome, but tell us what you do.
Well, the thing that I'm known for is 3D printing on fabric. The stuff that you see behind me, the dresses and the light there, are done where I'm printing on fabric. There is no sewing and no gluing. And same thing with the dragon scales, which a lot of people have seen on the videos.
I really like the dragon scales.
Those are awesome.
They're my
Thank
favorite.
you.
And that's printed right on fabric, right?
Yeah, so this is actually the bottom where you actually print it onto the bed. You print 2 layers, then you put the fabric on, and then you continue the print. So in most cases, I tell people treat it like a color change that you would apply to filament change that you would apply to a printer.
Right. And so, yeah, that was awesome. I just saw, I never saw him move like that before until right now.
Yeah.
In the pictures. And I saw you at Murph this past year. The next time I cut to you, I think I have the sample you gave us right over here. I'm going to grab it because it was awesome. But
Awesome.
That was awesome. So with the dragon, you do the dragon scales. I see some forms behind you. What's going on there?
So the forms here basically are the fabric dress design. So the one that has that's here has a whole bunch of little tiny panels that are actually put together with little rings. So I actually printed on fabric the outline of them, and then they gave me a border, so it's much easier to cut out something straight when you actually have the ruler glued on to the object you're trying to cut out. And then I had exactly where the holes should go. So I just poked those through with a screwdriver and then just threaded the rings in there. So it's a lot of tedious stuff as far as the rings, but I have exact placement of where they go. So there's over 1,500 rings in that dress. But there's no piece of that is bigger than, say, about that big. So that entire dress could be printed on a very small printer.
That's awesome. So what you're saying is pretty much anybody could do it if they took the time to learn.
Yeah, my goal with all of this is to show that if you have the creativity, but not necessarily the dexterity,
sure,
you can create whatever you want, what you see in your head at the quality that you see. So it's just a matter of thinking about it and applying these different techniques so that you can avoid things that, I tend to glue myself to myself. I tend to cut myself when I try to use scissors. So you can avoid those things by having things that are very straightforward as far as that. It may be a lot more tedious and maybe a lot more time consuming, but you'll be able to accomplish what you see in your head.
That's awesome. So I know we've got some pictures, and Brian Vine says he has a question. What fabric are you printing on? Is that tulle? Is what he's saying.
Okay.
So let me jump. There you go.
Tulle that was one of the things that people saw when I was first doing it, which it's one of the easier fabrics to print on if you get good stuff. If you get really cheap tulle, it will tend to melt with the printer. So I tend to avoid tulle at this point. It's also kind of fragile. So the main thing that I look for is fabrics that are very porous, fabrics are thin, and fabrics that don't stretch. It's not that you can't print with any of those, but every time you add one of those things, you add more thickness, you add it to be denser, you add it to be more stretchy, your failure rate goes up. So the thing that I tend to do is take the fabric and can you see through it? Can you actually see, like you can see my hand through this cotton. This is 100% cotton, and it doesn't stretch. It doesn't have a stretch to it like some other fabrics do. Gotcha. The fabrics behind me, those will have much more stretch to it. And so I have to and they're a little bit thicker, so less porous. So I have to be a little bit more careful when I lay down the fabric. I have to make sure that it's tension just enough to get it flat, so that the nozzle doesn't catch on it. This is why I like deltas as opposed to, say, Prusa or something like that. I've done a ton of stuff on when I had a Prusa, but the Pinda probe and the fact that the bed moves with the very narrow tracks on the side makes it much more difficult and much more prone to failure.
Gotcha. And you said a delta. That's because you print on a CME CNC Artemis. Is that right?
Yes. So yeah, the Delta allows me to like lay the fabric and have it over the desk and showing, so I don't have to worry about it being and being much larger than the bed. I have another example here. This is one that I printed out on carbon fiber and Kevlar. So,
whoa!
As you can see, this is a much bigger print, but it would just lay over that extra area, so I only had to worry about the area inside the printer. So
nice. So you printed. I gotta ask you. You printed on carbon fiber and Kevlar.
yeah. So this is, you can actually get this on Amazon, and it's the type of fabric that you get before you put resin on it. So you have to make sure that you tape down all the edges. So you tape down the edges before you cut it. Otherwise it frays like crazy, because it's actually designed for you to put resin into it. So I would print directly on that, and then I stabilize it afterwards. You to actually make it so that you put like a glue or something like that to actually make it so that it doesn't fray after the fact.
That's awesome. Someone, Dr. Jekyll says it's functional armor.
Yeah. So yeah, I was making business cards with this. So the joke was like making bulletproof business cards. I've also done more functional things by adding fiberglass screen door mesh to, say, drone bodies. And I think I have a video on my Instagram as far as that's concerned, where I break one that is just PLA, and I have 3 layers on one and none on the other. And I also want to show people that you can use this as a way of making your own composite materials. So you can use an off-the-shelf printer to make composite materials for drone bodies, RC cars, whatever you want. And you know how that PLA tends to shatter. It's very strong, but when it shatters, it fails catastrophically.
Right.
By adding the fabric, it will break, but it won't fail catastrophically because the fabric will keep it together.
Interesting.
I have a question for you, David.
Yes.
Were you a clothing designer before you got into putting 3D printing in with it, or is it just something you came up with at the same time? Or
No, I still don't know how to sew. So I'm good. I'm going after the whole, like, that small niche of fabric designers that don't sew. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've actually talked to some very well-known fashion designers about different techniques and things like that. One of my goals is to make pieces that other fashion designers would utilize in their fashions.
Gotcha.
So making pieces like the one I just showed you, and then you would actually, the fashion designer would take that and then trim that and sew that on as a part of, say, a jacket or jeans or something like that.
Right. David Houghton said, try this on the White Knight. Have you thought about doing a belt printer and doing long?
People have asked about this, and for the most part, the whole point of the way that I'm doing it to get the layer adhesion that I want is to print 2 layers first and then print down onto the fabric. so that it actually makes a mechanical bond between the lower layers and the upper layers because it's oozing through there. Because of the geometry of how the White Knight and the Black Belt and the other belt type printers print, they don't print layer one all at once. They print layer one as it goes along. There may be some very, so that's why it's problematic on something like that type of printer.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. So, go ahead.
Dr. Jekyll, that is the Railcore 2 300 ZL. This is the Alien3D version. I sell it on my site. Instead of the red, it's from Project Red. Designed it for me, or I'm partnered with them. But if you look on the design parts, it uses my alien ooze instead of the red. And also my name is etched into the bottom.
Nice.
Very cool.
That is super. That's super sweet. I remember we were talking about last night. We were testing quick, and you had the not sure if you had enough filament left on your spool. Is what I'm trying to say of it, but it looked like you finished that print, huh?
Yeah, during my live stream, I actually, because I couldn't connect to the Duet because my internet went down, but I did a hot swap, and it worked. So got it finished. It was like 29 hours of printing.
Nice.
But
that's awesome.
It finished.
So I was going to ask a question on that Railcore. What does it use for? I know it uses the motors to actually mechanically level it. What does it actually do to probe the bed?
This version, and I think all of Project Red's versions come with it. It uses a BL Touch.
Okay.
So it uses the BL Touch to do the probing, and I sell those too. But but yeah, it uses the BL Touch to do the probe.
Gotcha.
Right. And just so everybody knows, I have Alien3D linked in the description below as well. So check that out. We got some pictures, so let's pop up some pictures and check these out, and maybe you can tell us what we're seeing. So that right there, we'll just do that. So that's the first one. What are we seeing?
Okay, so this is actually my friend Stephanie. We were at Maker Faire, and I actually made some. That's the dragon scales that you see there, and I actually made a set of them for her. Nice. When she had her talk there. So, and then kind of like my logo design stuff with the hexagon there. So.
Those dragons are awesome. So this is so exciting. So what are we seeing here?
Okay, this was hard to explain with the picture, so I'm glad we're talking about this. The Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, which is actually a museum I went to as a kid, which was super cool. They found me based on some models I put up on Thingiverse, of all places, and contacted me about making some pieces for their wire-to-wear exhibit that is going on for 15 months and has a number of different awesome I just did fabric samples for them, and some of them are up, but other people actually have entire outfits, and one of the outfits that's in there is basically that flying Iron Man suit that you've seen on the internet. Is actually a version of it is actually there at the Wire to Wear exhibit, and that's how they kicked it off, is having him fly around out front of the museum.
That's so cool. So we saw this picture, or at least I did. I think a bunch of us did on Instagram. This is super awesome.
Okay, this is something that anybody can do. It does not require any special filament. It just requires buying diffraction grating that you may or may have not used in your science, like high school science class, which is it's akin to holograms, but it's the thing that you use to hold up to a light to figure out like what type of material the actual light is, if it's like a sodium vapor light or if it's sunlight or whatever. So the diffraction grating has I guess it's microscopic lines on it, and those lines actually break up the light into a prismatic effect and give you this rainbow. And you can buy it at different line weights and stuff like that. So
That's
you
really
actually,
cool.
yeah. So you just tape that onto your bed and print like normal.
Really?
When it cools, you lift it off the bed and you get the rainbow. That's it. There's nothing.
Now, does it actually pull whatever
No.
coating that you're printed on off?
It's not a coating. It's actually an impression. I've printed on the same piece like 6 times before. So,
That's really awesome. That
Yeah.
gives me an idea.
That's super cool. I cannot. My wife loves unicorns, and
Yeah.
I think we could have some fun with that. So let's see. Now this is something that I bet none of us on the chat have at all, because, well, it says your name on it. But tell us what we're seeing here. This is
actually the display at the museum, currently at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, where they're talking about my process of printing on fabric. And these are some of the samples that I sent to them.
That is so cool. I mean, for you printing on fabric, how long have you been doing that, by the way?
Less than 2 years.
Less than 2 years. So in less than 2 years, you took
Yeah.
something that is probably started like, oh, let's see if we can do this, into full-on dragon scales, into an exhibit in the Museum of Science and Industry.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. I don't even. That's so
That's huge.
That is, I mean, for you, for the 3D printing world, for makers, the people watching that do this stuff every day, that just shows that you can take it from wherever you want and go wherever you want. You just have to do enough. You have to put enough work into it, because I assume, going back through Instagram and stuff, you've put a ton of work into perfecting this.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm very clear about it, and there's one of the Instagram and Twitter posts that I put on. There was an original Hackaday article where somebody used like an Ultimaker, and they printed like a layer, put some fabric down, and kept on printing. And that happened a couple of months before the first time I did it. I can't remember if I actually saw them before that or if it was in the zeitgeist or whatever, but I give them credit for it. And they contacted me and they said they actually got it from an MIT paper. So it's like people go, did you invent this? No, I didn't invent this. I just kept on being stubborn about trying all these different things.
That's so sweet. So here's some of your scales. Looks like you were getting ready for Maker Faire.
Yeah, and this one is actually printed on screen door mesh. I tell people if they're going to try this, that's probably the easiest and cheapest way to start out is get fiberglass screen door mesh from Home Depot. You can get a lot of it like for $9 and go to town and try this out. And then you can sew it into your cosplay or whatever you want to do.
So,
or you can decorate your windows with 3D prints on your screens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. No, there you go. Screen.
Never run into that screen again.
a big printed stop sign.
Yeah.
We'll call it screen deco.
Yeah.
I love it. There we go.
This is
are we
showing
seeing
the process.
So step one, it looks like you put the first layer down.
Yeah.
Step two, you tape your fabric down.
Yes.
Do you tape it down every time, or I imagine you have to tape it down or it'd move, right?
Yes, and there has been times when I've actually just held my hands and held the thing down, because like the tape didn't quite get it or whatever.
What about the clips? Do you ever use those spring clips?
I've tried to do things like clips or magnets or whatever, but invariably the head of the printer tends to hit them. Gotcha. So, it's like, especially on something like a CR10 or whatever, how you end up hitting the binder clips or something like that on that same kind of principle. That's why it's like I have these very unique things that I want on a printer that don't make sense for anybody else. It's like, oh, I want LED lighting, edge lighting on the glass so that I can see exactly where I'm placing the fabric. And I want it perforated with a vacuum so that it sucks down the fabric, so weird things that you would want, that's one of the other reasons why I like the Artemis is the probing does, with the accelerometer as opposed to a physical object. So invariably, even with the Artemis, the number of times that I've caught a piece of tape with the cooling fan is astronomical. So having those little...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it was at Murph. Somebody had a little cooling fan that was like a circular tube with little tiny holes that went around the nozzle, and I thought that would be awesome for what I'm trying to do.
Nice. I was just going to ask if you put the fan guards on your fans because they actually have fan guards for our hot ends. With my Rostock before and your Artemis.
Anything like that is just going to get closer to the fabric.
True. I could see where that could be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried those 360 fans. The only thing I didn't like about them is that they block access to your nozzle. So I'm always trying to, pick off them little boogers so they don't drop into my prints. And I couldn't get to them. But they have another one that goes around probably 75%, and then you still have an opening a little bit to get to your nozzle.
Okay, cool.
So Brandon says this would be great for making cloth capes for 3D printed statues. I 100% agree, but I'll let David jump in a second, but I have to say this would be great for making me a cape.
3D print your glasses logo on the back.
Yes.
Yeah. There's actually one lady that actually does this for some basically figurines. I forget what they're called, but they're like the ball joint ones. And she had one of her sculptures up at the at SIGGRAPH at the Matter Hackers booth as well. The biggest thing as far as, say, doing a cape or doing everything like that is, in most cases, you're limited by the size of the bed. One of the things, like the one that you're seeing there with the Lego dinosaur, is I'm connecting it with rings. So there's actually aluminum rings that are connecting those pieces together, and then this one I actually printed the claws separately and glued them on top. So there's two different pieces: the flat one that you see where like the Lego guy is, like the minifig, and there's little aluminum rings there, and then there's these little blue inserts which I inserted afterwards, and they're a snap fit into it.
So
then,
with the ring, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Do you do the same thing as a cloth? You print so far, and then you lay the rings in there, and then you continue to print?
Yes and no, because I'll do it like that for some of the things, and then I've developed other shapes where I can snap the rings in after the fact.
So you have to do each ring individually. It's like the monotonous process of making chain link armor.
Yeah, the big difference between this and traditional chain link is I don't have to open up the jump rings. I
Right.
just have to place them.
Push them
So
in.
that's a lot of reduces a lot of wear and tear. The other one that I've done is a top and a bottom where I place rings in, and that's what I did for this purse. And if you make it me full screen, I can kind of show this with this.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. So I have this purse that I built here. So it has all these rings in it. And let's see if I can show this here. So there's a couple of small ones here where I didn't put the top cover in. And you can see that there's individual cavities for the rings. And then I would take and place the other print on top of that and snap it together.
Snap it in. Gotcha.
Man, that is awesome.
Also the center hole in there is designed in such a way that if it didn't snap tightly, which these ones actually snap very tightly, if they didn't, I could add super glue to it after the fact and make it permanent.
That is awesome. So I zoomed in on this, and I'm going to do it again just because I think it's so cool. So look, like, is this on your Artemis? Do you have a multicolor?
So there's the different claws there are actually printed separately.
Oh.
So, and then I snap those onto the top.
Gotcha.
Of so the both pieces where it has the little triangle blue pieces at the claw, the base chainmail mesh is identical. So I can actually do it as two different things, as this flat surface or as this one that has the claws on it.
That's awesome.
That is, I mean, that's so good. And that's a picture of you in front of your plaque, right?
Yep.
That is, man, that's such an honor. I've been there. I live in Wisconsin, so I've been down there a couple times.
I'm excited to see my logo on a Earth and Murph program. He's actually in a museum.
Right?
And it was super cool because it happened. They opened it up like a week before Murph. So I was able to fly into Chicago and actually bring my niece and nephew into there and actually show them that. And then the next day drive to Murph.
That's so cool.
That's sweet.
And I think I met you that, well, I'm not sure if we actually met face to face, but I know I saw you, and I know I was at the CME-CNC meetup the night before, so Friday.
Okay.
And that's where I was like, wait, he prints on fabric? Because I hadn't heard about you yet, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I do have to say thank you so much to Robert. Is it Veline or Veline? I'm not sure how you say your last name. He just donated $20 to the channel, and I really appreciate that. You can always do that, everybody. Cool. I appreciate that. It'll just keep content like this going. But thank you so much. That was a huge donation. I wanted to shout that out. So I got to jump in. We were talking about fashion, and I got to show a couple of things here. So this is straight from your Instagram page. If you guys have not followed David Shorey on Instagram, you can find him. Go ahead and tell them where they can find you everywhere.
So the Shorey Designs on Instagram, and it's shoreydesigns.com is my website, and also Shorey Designs is my Twitter handle. So they actually go to the same thing as far as the name on the Twitter. It's not changing between the two. which is nice.
Like mine. my Twitter has a K on the end because someone already had it. But
yeah,
I have a couple things on the fashion show. So you had this set up, and I wanted to show this first before the next couple pictures I showed. But you had these on forms, and I believe, is this what's behind you right now?
yes.
Okay. So check this out on his Instagram. You'll see that one. You'll see the other one that's right behind him as well. But what you won't see is this. So I got to say, that looks pretty dang awesome on there. I know you must have done a photo shoot.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine that she came over and modeled a bunch of the different dresses and stuff.
So cool. And it's one thing to see it and you're showing it, the dragon skills, but it's another thing to actually see it on somebody. It looks so awesome.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think you had that one too. So,
yep.
And that was, I mean, it's phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal.
Thank you. That was my kind of ode to Flash Gordon. So I wanted it kind of is the female villain in Flash Gordon, if you remember that. So if they plan on doing a remake, I got it covered.
There you go. See, if you hear that, anybody out there doing, if you're going to redo Flash Gordon, get a hold of David. Of that, I got to ask you. I went to your website, and IMDb. What's going on? It looks like a bunch of movies in there.
Okay. Before I was doing this and doing like machining and electronics, I was doing post-production for TV and movies. So I did a bunch of different movies, either a lot of, there's actually much more because there's like all these movie trailers that I worked on. But for thank you. For about a year, I was also doing dimensionalizing from 2D, making 2D movies, 3D movies.
Oh, that's cool. So I went there and I clicked. I was like, wait a minute. I clicked on it and a whole bunch of stuff. I was like, what is this? We have a celebrity right here.
So
right? Absolutely.
The ones that people always like, okay, it's like I've worked on these, the big name ones, but the ones people are very interested about are the Sharknado movies that I worked on.
Well, okay.
Now I wish I still had my book. I have a book that How to Survive a Sharknado.
What did you do in Sharknado?
Yeah, I did post-production, so a lot of, tornadoes, destroying cities and eating people and, stuff like that.
That's
oh,
awesome.
we need the pyramids flooding. Okay, here, make the pyramids flooding,
That is so funny. Another shout out, HVAC A to Z. Thank you so much, man. Another $20. I really appreciate that. That'll all go towards helping the channel and specifically shipping the giveaways I do. If just a quick update, if you've won something the last 2 weeks, it will be shipped out by Wednesday, by tomorrow. I think by tomorrow, yeah. So I work and I barely get time by the time I get work to get home before the post office closes, and most of the time I miss it. So I'll get it. I'm making sure that happens. So if you guys want, we have about 20 minutes left. We've been asking questions. Josh, fire away whenever you're ready. But if
I actually did have one more question.
Give me 1 second. If you're watching in the chat, if you have questions for Josh or for David or myself, shoot them in there. We're going to answer your question for the next 15 minutes before we do a giveaway. Go for it, Josh.
So back to your printing on fabric. I feel like after we've gone to the museum and movies now, this is kind of backtracking. Go ahead. Have you ever used TPU or flexibles?
Yes. There's a couple of different ones. The white top that is on carbon fiber, that was actually a flexible filament that was printed on there. Flexibles actually work probably one of the best materials for it. The of course, like with my patterns, you got to watch out about stringing. But as far as actually printing on it, it works really good. At Bay Area Maker Fair, there was a guy that was just across from me who had used his CR10S5 and was printing on screen door mesh and actually moved the things over as he was printing. I think I may have a picture on my Instagram. But he made these huge signs by offsetting the print. And I've done some of that, and it's really tedious and really tricky, so I commend him quite a bit. But that was all flexible on TPU on screen door mesh.
Nice.
That's
So what I'm hearing here between you two is this is going to be an upcoming project in one of the UFO boxes. Josh,
I can make that happen.
If you didn't know, David, Josh does a subscription box. It's called UFO box, right, Josh?
Yeah, UFO
very
mystery
cool.
box.
I could have stacked them in here when I had them, but I did put a link in the description below if anyone wanted to check those boxes out from the last 2 or 3 months. But it would be so cool. You could do your probed green. Someone asked me where we could get it. I told them on your website. Is that right, Josh?
Yeah, Alien3D.us.
You could do probed green and make like some sort of post your fabric print contest or something. That would be so cool.
Absolutely. I can definitely do that.
Yeah,
Now,
the other one that sorry.
No, go ahead.
Say that the other thing that I have done, and it does work, is printing it with ABS and use acetone vapor smoothing on a print that's been printed on fabric.
That would probably be super awesome.
Huh.
So I've done claws with that, and it's come out really
and
nice.
smooth.
Yep.
Here you go. That one's for you.
I want to be like you.
Thank you.
Something else that might work just as good. Have you tried using Poly Smooth? And
I have not.
Because you
I
can
have
just
not tried
use
that.
alcohol. You can just use alcohol spray to smooth that out. A lot less toxic.
Yeah, I think that would work good. Except now, it's like I'd be worried about taking, it to the clubs and then somebody spilling a drink on my dress.
That's probably true.
Oh man, that's funny. I can only imagine. But I mean, we've hovered around about 50 people watching, and for the third week of the show, that's pretty awesome so far. And I got to say, I bet you're going to have at least 40 people trying to print on fabric when we leave, and probably 30 wives upset that their shirts are cut.
I was actually super happy at Maker Faire at the amount of women that came up to my booth and was like, oh, now I have a reason to actually get into 3D printing. Nice. Because they saw what I was doing. One of the other things, I don't know if you saw this one, but I think I have it as a free download on my Patreon page.
Yeah, the Lego cloth.
It's Legos, but they're done a little bit differently than standard Legos. They're actually done like screw heads, so they're actually a little oversized, and that way it will allow you to have a very tight fit because you force the actual plastic to squish in. So,
right.
So these are all real Legos that are on there, and as you can see.
Yeah, I remember when you posted that on Twitter. I was thinking it'd be cool to make like a Lego wall hanging that kids can just build on.
Yeah. Now you can
go ahead.
Put it on your shoulders and have your minifigs, just hang out with you.
Hey, that's something I'm sure Amy Double D would absolutely go for.
Yeah.
So Chris Sculata wanted to know if you were wearing the dresses.
Not yet.
You should definitely go to go to IRF using some 3D printed battle armor.
Yeah. Are you going to be at IRF, David?
My plan is to be at IRF. I was there last year. It's just a matter of settling up the plans, but that's my plan, is to go there this year.
That's awesome. So I was just checking out the time. I looked over at my other screen here and realized I still had that model up. And I was like, whoa, hey, how are you?
Where's your wife at?
I got to put this up. That's a little better shot of that. I'm not saying a better shot, but you can see it better. How about that?
Yeah.
Right.
It's so cool to see it. I mean, and to touch it. I didn't get time to run over and grab the piece we have, but to go over and check it out. And I know, like we talked about earlier, shoreydesigns.com, and it kind of goes to your website, and you have a bunch of cool stuff here. And there's, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's part of my box folding robot that I did.
Nice. So, man, there's some really cool stuff. So I was just watching the chat here. Benny Brady says you'd have to watch out for synthetic fabrics with the acetone. That might not go well. And then Dr. Jekyll laughed at Josh's comment about Amy Double D.
She's actually done quite a few pieces where she's done some outfits utilizing this technique.
Yeah, I think she was doing that for the Murph costume that she I can't remember the candy girl from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, she did that on there, and then she also did a bunch of the different scales and stuff for her Snow White battle armor.
Yeah, the Snow White battle armor.
That's cool. What's really cool is just seeing other people do it, and you know, before we talked a lot, I didn't know if this was something that you were doing and keeping them, you know, trying to keep it. What's the way? Not necessarily open source, but like trying to do it so you can go for it. And as we talked more, I realized you're doing it to teach people how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I mean, it's very common where you see, you know, someone come up with such a cool, you know, idea, and then they run with it and they don't want to share that, you know, how-tos with a lot of people, but you're kind of showing, here, go try this.
Yeah, there's been a number of people. It's like, you should pan this. You should pan this. It's like, that's not where I want to go with this. I would not be able to do these things. I would not be able to create what's in my head if we didn't have to, you know, if the stuff hadn't come out of pattern for the 3D printers.
That's true. And it just shows, you know, the community of the 3D printing community is so amazing. And I mean, just willingness to share and help each other. We've probably all seen it. And in the chat, we've probably all seen it as well. And that's just so cool that, you know, now I'm going to go upstairs and, you know, borrow a shirt. And honey, I need to put a dragon tail on this. I don't know.
Shirts are one of the harder materials to actually print through. Okay. So, you know, try it.
Just grab one of your wife's dresses and print scales all over it.
Yeah.
She would love that.
Yeah, if she had a veil from the wedding, use that. It'll work perfect.
Nice. Cody Wharton, how you doing? Let's see. Someone else replied, very few fabrics are harmed by acetone. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about that, so I can't comment on that one. But
the ones I've tried didn't seem to have any effect with the acetone.
Nice.
I think you have to have something that is a very plasticky ABS or ASA like material before it would start to break down. So very, you know, I don't know if polyester. I think it's a different type of polymer than an ABS, so I don't think it's going to affect it.
So maybe what we're saying is cut a small piece or test a small piece with the acetone before you print on it, and then ruin everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like cleaning your carpet. You got to test the small corner first. Nobody ever does that.
Yeah.
I don't. I go all in.
Go for it.
He has alien ooze green carpet everywhere right now. We just can't see
Well,
it.
it's my hair. I mean, when the instructions for it said test a small piece, I'm like, no way, I'm going all out.
I love it. So, while we're talking, I think we should do a giveaway. We still have about, what do we got here? About 10 minutes left, but I don't want to get too far over. I'm really trying to keep this in that 1 hour mark for our viewers and for our guests, especially because we're all busy. But Coax Filament, Coax 3D is allowing us to do a giveaway tonight. They also have a 15% off coupon. It's in the description below. Check it out. And also they do $5 shipping. So if your order is over $50, and that will take into account the coupon, right? But if it's over $50, they only charge you $5 to ship. And that's pretty awesome because it's usually a lot more expensive ordering it straight from a company. But let's just do everybody in the chat. Let me get it set up here. I just want to make sure we're good. Type in the word Coax. We'll do a Coax giveaway. Now, remember, this is for one person, and it is any filament out of their line you want. It does not work with the DuPont. They actually have another brand. They work with DuPont, and it's a very high-end brand that they won't add into the discount or the giveaway. But that's okay. I've played with some of that filament, and that stuff is. I wish I had a sample here. It is super strong. Some of the stuff they do. But while we're doing the Coax giveaway, we were talking a little bit before the stream. So what types of filaments do you use when you print?
What types? I pretty much printed with most of your standard types, whether it be PLA, ABS, CPE, which is Filamentum's version of PETG, which goes a little bit hotter, standard PETG, flexible filament. All of those will, I've gotten to print through fabric. The main thing is, you've probably printed with like a perforated bed ABS prints. You've probably seen those like perforated beds that you use for ABS to get it to stick down.
Sure.
Same type of principle. You're actually getting it to ooze through the holes of the fabric. So anything that will, flow through it will go through the fabric.
Oh, interesting. So that's kind of the process that has to be able to go through the fabric and bond to the bottom layer, right?
Yeah, this is a failed one, and I use this to show people, is it will actually, if it goes through completely, sometimes it doesn't, but if it goes through completely, it will usually rip the fabric before it delaminates. So these ones actually were ripping the fabric before you actually can tear these pieces off of this piece of cotton.
Holy moly.
So people ask, like, well, how strong it is. And that's why I do this, because if you print directly on the fabric without putting that layer underneath, it's the equivalency of basically putting a sticker on a T-shirt. So it will stick, but it will peel off.
Got it. That makes sense. About 20 seconds on the Coax. If you've not dropped Coax in the chat, I'm going to roll it in about 20 seconds, just a heads up to everybody. No, that makes total sense. And what's cool is you said that was a failed print, but it's still ripping the fabric before the print pulls off.
Yeah.
So cool. Oh, man. So just a quick heads up. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. Someone just commented we see 27 thumbs up. 3D Medic Vince was trying to do an auction down there. He said, no, 30. Do I see 32? 32. Can I get a 32? So there you go. That's what he said. So thank you so much for everybody joining and tuning in tonight. I know it's a Monday night. You guys have a lot to do, but we had such an awesome guest with David here and co-host over here with Josh. Check out Josh's channel. I'm going to roll this now, and then we'll go through that. One Raz.
Congrats.
Congratulations. You got a roll of Coax filament. Shoot me an email. all you got to do is shoot me an email at jim@theedgeoftech.com, and I'll get your information over to Coex, and you can place your order with them. It's going straight from them, so shipping will be prompt. and you know, you can use your 15% off if you want while you're over there. So let me just look here. Oh, nice. So I just saw your chat right now, Josh. You want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it. So Josh just chatted me real quick on the side, and he said he's going to give away 3 rolls of the probed PETG, the green PETG, as we're talking to. I win one of them, so we got 2 left. No. So let's do. I'm going to make this happen. ALIEN, right? There we go. So we're going to give away 3 rolls. Hey, Wendy's in the house. So Wendy just commented she'll ship tomorrow if we get the info. I'll do my best to get you the info, and I'll hook you up with 1 RAS. Wendy is actually from Coex. She's in the stream tonight. So thank you so much for popping in. Let's give away some alien news while we're doing that. Everyone drop alien in, and we'll give away. You said 3 rolls?
3 rolls of the probed green PETG.
I was not expecting that. Thank you so much. So while we're wrapping it up, Josh, where can we find you?
Alien3D.us, Alien Slacker on Twitter, Alien Slacker on Instagram, Alien3D US on Facebook.
Nice. And I'm just grabbing my boxes because I wanted to show off.
Yeah, you're missing a few, Jim. I went and stacked mine.
I see this. I am definitely missing a few.
Every designed box since I started designing the custom designs in October.
Nice. And RPM Designs is doing that for you now, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Robbie
So
Mack. Robbie Mack started doing them in June. All of them before that from October to May. I did, except for the March one was done by Art Mods.
So he hides something in his boxes. Where is it on this one?
Open up the flap and the silhouettes of the aliens. Nope, on the top. Go back to the top. The silhouettes of the aliens, I think it's on the right-hand flap.
Oh, I got it now. Dang it. I would have known that.
Godzilla.
Those of you know Robbie Mack drops the, well, you just printed one, right? He prints. He drops a. Let's see if I can show it.
Yeah, the Godzilla.
There's a bunch of aliens and then a Godzilla. So he drops the Godzillas in his artwork somewhere, and well, obviously I didn't look hard enough to find it. That's what I did. So let's go on Alien. We're gonna give it up. Let's do it. Oop, not disable. How about that? How about roll it? There we go. There's one. David Williams. Congratulations. I'm actually gonna, if everyone dropped Alien in there, let's see if it'll let me do it again.
Yeah, just re-roll it.
Yeah.
While you're about to roll one, there's another question for David. Ben E. Brady asks, have you printed fabric with any glow-in-the-dark filament?
I have not used the glow-in-the-dark filament yet, mainly because don't have a hardened nozzle. So I just have to switch out hardened nozzle. So I haven't done like that or wood or the carbon fiber filament yet. So it's on the list to do, but so many things to try.
If I can find my box of hardened nozzles I have left over from December, I will send you one or give you one at her. Because I think it would be cool with the glow in the dark because they're UV reactive.
Yeah.
If you printed like multiple colors, because they've got different colors of glow in the dark.
Yeah.
And you went through like a black light, they would look amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I have done some CP that is very UV active, so it basically it glows under that like black light, but it's not glow in the dark.
Okay.
That is
right.
awesome. So David Williams, congratulations, and Robert Reynolds, congratulations. You two won, and I get the third one, so we're just not going to roll it. No, I'm just joking. We got one more. Michael Fox, congratulations. You
Michael
three.
Fox.
Yes.
That's,
Congratulations. Thank you, Josh. I didn't know you were going to do that, so that's amazing.
yeah, no problem.
You guys will love it. I have the – actually, it's in this one. I have the sample in this one, and I think I want to print the blade for one of these in that. It would look so sweet in that green.
That would. Or in the ooze. The
Yeah,
ooze
there
would
you go.
because it's got a little more glow to it.
Here's 3D Medic Vince. There you go. Oh, that's a cool idea. He's saying make a coin with the first 2 layers glow in the dark, and then your third layer would go over it, so it glowed. You know, what I'm imagining is it's glowing to the top of the coin, right?
Yeah.
So cool. You can buy the green filament at on the Alien3D website. I think Tyler dropped the link in the description, or actually in the chat a little while ago, and it's also in the description below. So we know we can find you at Alien3D, what alien3d.us, right?
Yes.
I got that right. One more time, where can we find you, David?
ShoreyDesigns.com or at Shorey Designs on Instagram or Twitter.
Got it. Someone just asked a good question. Do they need to email you, Josh, or you want them to email me and I'll get them your stuff?
Whichever.
What's easier for you?
How do you verify people? Because anybody right now in chat could say, "Hey, I'm Robert Reynolds."
I'm Robert Reynolds.
So
good
Robert.
Usually their email tells me it's their name, or they say, "Hey, I go by this name on." It's a good point though. Take a screenshot.
Message me on Twitter.
Oh, there you go.
Or Facebook.
I love it. Well, one more time, thank you guys so much for coming tonight.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna drop the stream in just a second. Hang out there, don't go anywhere. But everybody, thank you so much for coming another Monday night to the community showcase. I hope we did David Shorey's work justice, because it is awesome. If you did not catch the stream, go back and rewatch it, because we showed a lot of cool stuff, and he actually told us the technique, which is even cooler. I'm probably going to ruin some clothes trying it. But I'm going to start with a screen door.
Yeah, there'll just be a hole in the screen. No big deal.
I'm making a patch for it. That's what I'm doing. But thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much to TH3D for the sponsor, to Coex 3D, Coex Filament. Thank you so much for sponsoring us with the discount code and the giveaway tonight. If you haven't tried Coex, try that out. Special thank you to StreamYard for allowing us to use your platform and giving us a platform to go out on. And RPM Designs, Robbie Mack, you are the man. You guys, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you again next week. Later.
Be sure to